Howdy once again, it's Mr. Pete, your YouTube shop teacher. Thanks for joining me. And today we're going to go on a little adventure, a field trip to my friend Gary's clockmaking shop. And it's going to be a long video. I'll have to break it down into two parts, so be sure and watch both parts. Gary's a very interesting man. He was a chemist most of his life, but also a teacher. That's when I first met him at the high school, where he filled in for a science teacher who was gone on a sabbatical leave for a year. And I've seen him at auctions from time to time over the years, and we have become pretty much of fast friends. And so he's invited me into his shop, and it's an amazing shop. And I've divided the video into two parts. One where he does more of his precision machining, clockmaking, watch repair and things like that. And then he also has a larger shop where he does woodworking, and well, he's a master of most of the trades. Highly intelligent man, so I think you're going to enjoy this. So the main thrust of this originally was to take a look at his SHERLINE machines. He's got a little SHERLINE lathe and the milling machine, and you're going to see some of his other little jeweler's lathes as well. So let's get started, and be sure and watch part 2 as well. I'm here in the shop of my buddy Gary, and he's a clockmaker, and he likes to work on watches and other small things. Say hi to the camera, Gary.
Hello.
And we're going to take a look at some of the things that he has in his shop here, and this is just one room out of several that he has, and he does a lot of small work. So for instance, right here is a little jeweler's lathe, but we're going to take another look at that later on. But initially, let's look at his SHERLINE tools, because that is the essence of this video. Alright, on this side of the room, we have his little SHERLINE lathe. And what model is that? Do you know?
4000.
It's 4000. It's model 4000.
It's an 8-inch.
It's 8 inches between centers.
Right, 3.5-inch swing.
And 3.5 inch swing. Now these machines, some of you have seen these, are primarily aluminum, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, the bed steel.
Oh, it's a bit steel or cast iron? And anyway, it's ferrous.
It might be, yeah.
Yeah, it's ferrous, and little tool post on there, and very precision, variable speed, no doubt, on the motor.
It's a DC motor.
DC motor. Mm-hmm. And nice little tailstock chuck. And we got a little 3-jaw chuck there on the headstock. Yeah. Okay, what do you got in the drawers, Gary?
Okay.
Oh man.
Now, this is a 4-jaw that closes, and the reason I got that is sometimes you want to do tubes and you need a little more. A 3-jaw would crush it. It's a little larger size than this.
So that's a scroll, a 4-jaw scroll,
and this is 4-jaw independent.
4-jaw independent, okay. So you got 3 different chucks, and what else? Some of that stuff, of course, is homemade, fixtures and so on. But
this is an adjustable tool post.
Oh, that's tiny.
And something like this, I'd make that.
Okay, for boring. That's boring bar.
Yeah. I have a couple dogs, little ones.
Everything a lot smaller than what I'm used to.
And what I do is when I have a balance wheel and I want to sharpen the pivots, I make these little collets. I could put it in there, and what it'll do is protect the hairspring. And I mark the A-jaw on the 3-jaw chuck, so I can kind of put it back pretty close to center.
Okay, what about the tool post now? That's a cute little thing.
Tool post is a A to Z. Made in USA. And a lot of these up in here I made. It only comes with a few of them, so they're easy to make. They're all aluminum.
Yeah, with a dovetail.
Yeah. And it's a piston type.
And you're quite satisfied with this little machine, aren't you?
Oh yes.
Yeah. They're pretty slick, and you see them advertised in some of those home shop machinist magazines and so on. And cute little tailstock on it.
So then I'd make different types of tool posts that would go in the slot, like this, and then that slot is right on center, so you could put a drill in the chuck and put a rod in here and drill it right in the center. You don't have to find it. So, and sometimes you need to grab something that, so I make a lot of little pieces like that.
And all of your tools in there are quite small. So you got little calipers and a holder down here a little more. Yeah, that's where I got. Wow.
And that's a small one. So, it's a tailstock, and that's adjustable, so that when you want to get it out closer, you can get it.
Okay, so it's got extra reach.
Extra reach,
yeah.
But it comes apart. So
now, did this table or cabinet come with it?
No, I made that.
Oh, you made that?
Yeah.
You know, Gary's quite a woodworker, too. He's got an awful lot of tools in this basement here, other than what we're going to see in this video. Okay, Gary, turn it on and show me the speed range. So it'll slow down quite a bit, Lawrence.
Get my hand out of the way.
And that control was on there when you bought it?
Yeah.
That's. How long have you had this?
Probably 20 years now.
Did you say 20?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You were a young man when you bought it.
That was 2000, year 2000 approximately.
Okay.
Now if you want to come back here and you want to take thousandths of an inch off.
Okay, Gary's got a piece of brass in the chuck. He's taking a very light cut. So it's really accurate, isn't it?
Yep. A little bit of chatter all towards the end. And I'll take a half a thousandth to a thousandth of an inch off. So it's half a thousandth on that.
Okay.
And then I can take 15 thousandths, that's 30 thousandths off.
All right.
A little spring back in it.
And of course, when you're doing small work, you use a small micrometer. This is what, up to a ½ inch?
½ inch, yeah.
It's a pretty little micrometer.
I got that one.
And a Starrett
798.
798. That's a nice one.
Made in the USA.
Made in USA. I understand some of theirs are not made in the USA.
799 is made in China.
Okay, Gary's taking the chuck off of the SHERLINE.
Okay.
Any idea what that thread is?
Yeah, 3/4 16.
3/4 16. And you're going to put collet attachment on.
Now, one of the things about collets is that
Hold them right here.
there's a lot of different collets, and both of these are 8mm. That's 8mm across here. This is called WW, and this is Bowley, which is my lathe. So I've got two collet holders, and you'll find, well, the one will go in both, but maybe I didn't grab the right one. But they're just slightly different. They're about 3/1000ths different. And so
you got to have the right one.
You got to have the right one of these, because sometimes they don't fit.
I know what you mean.
So, what you do here? Okay, clean this out.
Clean her out.
That's the Bowley one. And then you have a drawbar.
Pretty cute.
So,
Let's see that drawbar again. Hold it in front of the camera, right about down here. Now, is this a SHERLINE product?
Yes.
Here it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And they offer a lot of accessories.
Yeah, they have a
Little
steady rest. Now I made the bearings in it,
Okay.
and I have a compound tool post.
Very nice.
Now one of the things about this is you got to put the cutters in upside down.
Oh,
It cuts on the back side.
cuts on the backside.
Yeah. And then we have a screw cutting attachment
What did you call this?
for cutting threads.
For cutting threads.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with all the
But it's not a power feed. You'd be feeding by hand.
now I've got a I would feed this by hand, but this is the power feed
Oh,
for the
all right.
for the
Now you would take the handle off here,
off here.
or you do it up on that end.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually
I see.
I got to take the motor off.
Yeah. Oh,
So some people have modified this so that with the different belts, so you don't have to take the motor off all the time.
but you bought this new.
Yes.
So here's the knurling attachment. That's aluminum also, but the black finish is beautiful. Is that anodized?
Yeah.
Black anodized.
So and then these would be the screws. Depending on how big you're going to go, you can put different size screws in there.
Sure. Okay, this is Gary's little jeweler's lathe, and it's a German-made. Did
Bowley,
you?
German Bowley.
Bowley. It's a Bowley, and it came from a local jeweler here. He's had it for many years. Got a foot control, and it's nickel plated, so it's really a beauty.
And it's got this I made. The original tailstock is here, and that
Okay.
took tapered cutters.
Uh-huh.
And I've got some of those back into here. You got like a
And those are what, the centers?
yeah. These go in the tailstock,
Okay.
and they have a taper on them.
And those, did these collars come with it?
No, these I picked up here and there.
The ones back here.
Oh, those came with it.
Those came with it. Okay.
Yeah,
And you've had this for a long time.
yeah, probably 30 years,
And
25 years.
That motor also was with it, I assume.
Right. You go forward the normal way, and then you switch that and you go backwards. The age, but I know that these were in the 1920s catalog.
Okay, Gary, you got the compound cross slide here also.
Correct.
And that's a little beauty, very similar to the way Hardinge did it. And it's got, does it have the name on it or not?
Yeah, Wolf Jane, Jahn.
Okay. Well, you got good eyes.
Wolf John, Germany. And I think Bowley and that company combined
Okay.
later. So, yeah, you just mount this on the slide out here. Just like...
Yeah, it looks like a tiny little Hardinge lathe.
And I have to screw that up. There we go.
Okay, in this drawer we've got drill bits. And they are tiny watchmakers, jewelers. Look at the size of those things. Did these come from West Clocks, do you know?
Some of them.
Some of them did, but pretty small stuff.
And they used to sell them in kits, so
Yeah.
that'd be 30,000s, 40,000s, 44,000s
Oh man.
of an inch. So I've got the gravers in this drawer. These would be the cutters you'd use with this slide
Sure.
on here.
So
Cut it
you would
by
use
hand.
those the way you use chisels for woodworking.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
If you didn't use that. Yeah, that would. So now we've got files.
Plenty of jeweler's files, needle files, Swiss files.
Yep.
Well, Gary has so much stuff, it's hard to know where to start, but this is one of his workbenches. He has several of them where he does his clock work, but you can see all of the different tools he has here, really hundreds of them, and more up on the walls. I thought I had a lot of tools. He makes me look like a piker. Okay, what do you got there, Gary?
It's a box of screws.
Hundreds and hundreds of watch screws.
Little tiny screws.
Oh man.
So,
All right, what do we got here?
box of reamers.
Reamers.
0.98 millimeters.
Oh my.
Yeah, this one goes up to 2 millimeters.
So 2 millimeters the largest. You say those are from Switzerland?
Switzerland.
Oh man. In a fitted box.
And some are broken, so they're missing some.
Yeah.
They put some.
I really like that little stool. It seems to me that we had some of them at the high school. Where did you get that?
Western
I'll be
Clock
darned. It
Company.
came from the great West Clocks factory, and that name predates West Clocks itself. Does that say 1920 on there, possibly?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, they were Western Clock Company up until 1936.
Now we're in another room here with Gary, and he collects clocks, and particularly West Clocks clocks, and he has many of them on the wall, various samples from over the years, and sometimes in this area where West Clocks was located, you could get these at a garage sale for next to nothing. Now, these are not West Clocks.
Oh, those are West Clocks.
They are West Clocks?
Yep.
I'll be darned.
These came from the World's Fair in Chicago, 1933 and 1934.
Wow.
And these are from the 1930s.
I didn't know they made anything like
And
that.
then the 1950s are the plastic ones.
Yeah, and then they went to plastic. Now, as you well know, West Clocks has been closed for 20 or 30 years, and they had a big repair department, and much of these parts, screws, gears, pinions, whatever, came from that repair department. Thousands, tens of hundreds of thousands of parts, and then even more on the far wall here, and up and down. Do you know where everything is, Gary? Could you find it? Or do you have to search?
Once in a while I have to search. I've got an idea where everything's at.
General idea, yeah.
General idea.
And here's Gary's Gerstner chest. Is that oak?
It's oak, but it's one of their imports.
Yeah, it's an imported one.
Yeah. So you might like
Oh,
some more of
they
the.
got tools in it too.
Yeah. Let's say one of your starrets. So the little
Yeah, I got. That's a
starret.
yeah, stir it.
Yeah. And this one's brown and sharp.
Brown and sharp. Very nice.
Little ones. Some of the parts for holding the dial indicators.
Sure.
That's
Another
one
depth
with a
mic.
Depth mic. I got some of the small 1/4 inch edge finders.
Didn't know they made one of that small.
Yeah, it comes out of Fisher Machine Products, Hawthorne, California.
Okay. All right, that's not a Starrett.
No.
Okay.
No.
The red case threw me off.
It's a general. My gauges. That's empty. Got an angle block. I drilled some holes in it to fit the Sherlines.
Okay, now we've got the Sherline milling machine. And you can see there's some similarities in the construction. We've got the motor, this is of course vertical, we got the motor up above. And what size collets does that use?
That same collet's 8mm, same as
okay,
the
same as the other
This
machine.
is a #1 Morris taper in the
Let's see
headstock.
if I can get a... Were there different models of this, or?
Yes, this is a 5400. It's a little larger,
Okay.
and they've got a new model now that's even bigger. Yeah.
All right, that's 5400.
And I made the thing for the dial indicators. So if we want to, got a little piece of aluminum in here.
Okay, we're going to take a cut.
Okay.
Does a nice job, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's about 5 thousandths.
All right. And how long have you had this machine?
Probably not as long as the lathe. I think
Okay.
they're newer.
About 12 or 15 years, maybe.
The speed on this is not as fast as the lathe,
Okay.
but it's also a DC motor.
Uh-huh. And you built this stand or cabinet.
This is another one of mine that I built. So,
Keeps some of the accessories and tooling in there.
and these are some of the parallels.
Little parallels.
I had them ground, so.
Uh-huh. And the vise came with it? Or-
And with it, I made the stand for it.
Okay.
I've got pins in there so I can put it up against into the slot, and I can get very close.
Okay.
I don't have to adjust it very much at all to
Yeah.
get it lined up. So I got a lot of little cutters. I got a stubby drill set.
Okay, in numbers.
Numbers, yeah.
That's something I need to get.
And then these are the numbers up to 80.
I do have that set.
Yeah. Some of the mill. Some of the little center finders or center drills.
You're very well organized.
And there's a part of a fly cutter. Fits right in the headstock.
Uh-huh.
And then I use this to cut gears. And we got the rotary table.
Oh, that's
The
what
chuck,
looks like what, about 4 inch maybe?
4 inch.
4 inch.
Yeah.
rotary
The chuck will
table.
come off the lathe and screw onto this.
Okay.
So I can turn something on the lathe, put it on here, and then mill it.
And that came from Sherline
That's
also?
Sherline.
Mm-hmm.
This one is one this is the gear cutter, and it mounts on the table,
Okay.
Sherline table. And in order to index it, you have to
Okay.
go like that, and then you can cut another. This is a gear in here I've got to cut yet.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, so when you need a gear for an antique clock, you don't get them at the box store, do you?
no, you don't. This one, this movement is a Brewster and Ingram. They were in business 1840 to 1845, and it's got what's called fusees on it. Back then, they didn't know how to make springs well enough, so as the spring wound down, it gave it a bigger angle. Now, when I got this, it was all part and 2 gears are missing. So this is the first one I made. Cutting it, and I've got one more to cut. And it's in the machine here. So.
This particular clock, wall clock here in Gary's shop, is the exact model that we had in the kitchen during all of the years that I grew up. That's how we told time. Really only one clock in the house at that time. Next we'll take a look at Gary's other little jeweler's lathe. And look at the name here, Derbyshire, and you say they are still in business?
Yep.
And they are the main competition of Levin. So my buddies there at Active Atom, Lance and Patrick, I'm sure I'll get a comment from you about this. So let's take a look at this machine. Okay, here is that little lathe, and it did come from the Westclock's factory. We're not sure if it was in the repair department or where it was from, but again, it's got some nickel plating on there on the tailstock, does it not? That's a nice looking machine, and probably the original motor back there.
Yeah. And then this is
oh, fast rack and pinion action.
And you can take this out, and it's 10mm collets. So I can put a collet in here with a drill.
Oh, a collet in the tailstock.
Yeah. Same collets that go in the headstock. Gotta find there's a little pin in there.
Yeah.
So if I had a drill and I want to get it real precise, that's how I put it in there.
Well, that's awesome. Complete set of collets back there and there. Did you say 8mm?
10mm.
10mm collets for this machine.
Right. And I got more in here. Some of them are come larger, that you can machine down. And these are levin, but that would go in the tail in here. So
the levin products would fit in this machine.
Right, they're called D collets, levin D collets, and they would fit in this machine too.
And he's got the cross slide for this lathe as well. Now, when you work on a lathe like this, last time I was here, I believe you had a microscope you were using.
Yes, I've got a microscope that I can put on here.
Yeah, that's how small the work is sometimes. So here's the microscope that he uses from time to time.
This is
10 power is what it is. Yeah, we're not looking at blood cells.
I think that's 1 down here. I don't think
Yeah.
that's amplified, so it's 10.
Did that come from Westclock's, do you think?
I bought it at an auction. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could have.
So here we got a little press.
Get the light.
I got it here, I think.
So this was missing. This is something I made
Okay.
on it, so it can go into here, in that space, or I can bring it up into here and make different things that'll fit onto here that I could put different for the different presses.
Cute little unit, you know, and I've never seen one made where the plate is on the side here instead of the front.
Yeah.
A little bit different design. Does it say where it's made?
It was USA.
It's USA, okay.
Reese. Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Kalamazoo, Michigan. What do you got there, Gary?
This is a wood movement.
A wooden movement, all wood gears?
Right. Before roll brass was popular or being made in the United States, they made clocks out of wood.
What year do you think?
1830 or earlier.
1830?
Maybe up to 1835, depending on the manufacturer. This one's a Seth Thomas.
It's a Seth Thomas?
Yes.
Wow. And any idea what kind of wood they use for the gears?
This is quarter sawn oak, and then usually cherry and wedge.
All right.
And they got to be loose.
They got to be loose.
Or they won't run.
Is there expansion and contraction?
Yeah, the gears are not round in these things.
Yeah.
They can vary up to 20 thousandths.
Holy
from
mackerel.
one way to the other. So,
And Seth Thomas became a division of Westclocks, or vice versa.
About 1931.
Oh, 1931.
Yeah. So just as the start of the Depression.
All right, thank you, Gary. We're going to conclude this video here in his shop here for watches and real small work. And then we're going to go in part 2 into his other shop, a little bit larger equipment than what you see here that he uses just for general shop work. And thank you very much, Gary, for taking the time, allowing me to film all of this in the inner sanctum here of what is really a very beautiful shop. So this is tubalcain saying so long for now.